Hello, everybody. I am Rex Sykes, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Los Angeles Tribune Leadership Week. It's coming up May 1st through the 7th, might even last a little longer than that. But we've got top speakers, top authors, top people in all different kinds of walks of life that you're going to want to pay attention to and attend. This is a transformational event, global transformational event, and you don't want to miss it. You can register by going to LAleadershipweek.com, LAleadershipweek.com, and register. And you're going to want to register. And the reason for that is because all the replays are free. It's absolutely free to register, but you want to have access to the replays because it is a long filled event with marvelous speakers. I'm going to bring up two of our speakers. One is Mr. Danny Walsh. We're going to talk to you, Danny, in just a moment. And we have Mr. Scott Jones. And both of these gentlemen are friends of mine in real life. We know each other. We're friends. And we like each other, which is even more remarkable because they are truly good guys. And they are experts in their own areas. So they're going to be talking during the week. And I wanted to also have a chance for you, the audience, to meet some of the speakers before they got there. So we have a limited amount of time, so let's just begin. And Danny, I know that you've got a hard stop. You probably didn't do that, but Danny. So Danny is a maven. He's a maverick in marketing. He's my co-host on Rex Sykes TV, but he knows his stuff and he works to help people help themselves in terms of online marketing and making money and enhancing their lifestyle through mindset, through technology, and through connecting up with others. So Danny, just a moment can you say a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, thank you so much, Rex. You might gather from my accent that I'm from the UK, but I've been working with Rex for a while now. And like we say, we do like each other and we do get on. So that's always helps, right? But the event, the LA Leadership Week, it's such a privilege to be part of this. And I know there's so many amazing speakers who are bringing a message, bringing encouragement, bringing hope in a time where some folks might find it's difficult to lead, right? It's difficult to stand out and go out there and fight for your community, fight for the people. And that's what I'm kind of all about, is being able to help people connect with technology to their audiences, the audiences that they want to serve. And if I can do that, and I can do that well, by hopefully spreading some useful information, then long may that continue. So I'm super excited about this, and I'm pumped to get involved and to get moving. I've got a great presentation lined up, and I'm going to give as much as I can in the time that I've got, give folks some motivation, some things that they could do right now, some things that they might want to take away and work on. But whatever we do and however we do it, this week is going to be amazing. There's so many awesome speakers, a privilege to be part of it. And yeah, I just think that you need to register, get up there, get your name and email put in and get all the details. Mark out your calendar as well and make sure that you put the time aside. There are so many speakers to choose from. Having those replays will be invaluable. But Rex, a pleasure. And I can't wait to get into it.
Well, that's awesome. And I ought to say that you kind of went from zero in terms of your technical expertise and everything to a member of the 2 Comma Club.
Yes, I think technology has always been an important part of my life. So we never had any money, right? So if you don't have any money, you become resourceful. And when you become resourceful, you can pretty much make anything work. And that's something that I've done for many years. So being able to share some of the stories and insights of things I've learned along the way. 2 Comma Club is just, it's a thing on the wall. It's not about the money, it's about people for me. And it's so important that that piece is in place and that people are focusing on helping others, focusing on building and maintaining communities, focusing on relationships. And I know that those things are fundamental to certainly what I'm going to be talking about, what other speakers are going to be talking about, making sure that our viewers, the people who are joining us, are equipped to not only lead, but to shine, especially in challenging times, right? This is what it's all about.
Oh, fantastic. I appreciate that. And people should know that we have Russell Brunson, Ty Lopez, Boxer Larry Holmes, Brian Tracy, Mark Victor Hansen, Les Brown, Sharon Lecter, Marie Diamond, Crystal Hansen, if I didn't say her name, and so many people. And so I'm very thrilled to have you guys here, and for the audience to get to meet you in advance of the of our Leadership Week. And thank you for that share. I'm going to, hi, Mr. Scott Schilling. We're going to get to you in just a moment. Another marvelous speaker and presenter. We're going to go to Mr. Scott Jones right now, who not only is he an amazing artist, but he's a specialist in the area of addiction and other things. So, and in working with agencies that specialize in helping people. So, Scott Jones, we're going to ask you to likewise share some about yourself and your background.
Well, as Danny said, I'm very honored to be a part of anything where we can reach out and make a change and make people aware. I'm certainly coming from an area where I am not the business expert. What I work in is helping individuals. And I believe that a part of leadership is a responsibility to be there and to help people that have helped us or that are around us. What I'm talking about specifically is addictions and mental health. In the time, the few days that it'll take for the LA Leadership Week to take place, we could lose 1,500 people to addictions in the time that it takes to run this programming. That's too many. There's too many things out there. There's too many services that are available. There are options for people. The war has always been on drugs. The war has always been on everything except for where it belongs, which is on apathy. We need to start taking care of each other. It's a fantastic thing that we learn to excel for ourselves, and we learn to grow our businesses, and we learn to grow our circles and in our intelligence. But it means very little if we lose our humanity in doing so. So that's what I'm going to be speaking to, and I hope people will join me. I know it's probably not the message that goes along with everyone else, but it's an important message. My nonprofit, we spend a lot of time working with first responders and veterans who come out of service, the service to us, and end up with mental health issues and addictions that go untreated. And we see suicides. We see a lot of things happening. It's time to make that change. I'm all about that change. I'd like to tell you more about how you can get involved, but more importantly, what you could do as an individual and as a leader in your company, in your communities, in your homes, how you could do things to make things a little bit better. I look forward to spending time with you. And as always, Rex, I appreciate your friendship and the time that you and I spend together. It's always a bonus for me.
Well, and I also want to point out that you are leading the way. You are a leader in your own right, in your area of expertise, and helping others to transform their lives, but also helping teach and lead agencies to be able to help and provide help for the people who need help.
Absolutely. If one person knows how to do one extra thing, we could change the world right there. One person, then another person, then another person. I'm not asking anybody to take on all the woes of your city or your industries, but I am asking you to take personal responsibility. Like I said, if I'm a leader, the only thing I'm leading people to do is to make the change that is possible. And don't wait for someone else to do it.
Well, that's beautiful, and we appreciate that. We're glad that you're part of Leadership Week, as we are with Danny, and I'm going to bring up Scott Schilling, and we'll bring Danny back for a moment. But Scott Schilling is an amazing speaker and an author, too, and as is, I think everybody here has a book, right? Or have you written your book yet, Scott Jones?
I'm painting pictures in my book right now.
That's right.
Scott is an amazing artist, and he's got some of his artwork in the back and of him, and just an amazing artist. But Scott Schilling. Mr. Scott Schilling is a leader and an author. He's gone through some remarkable personal challenges in his own right and near-death experience, and has come through that. So we're going to ask Scott to share about who you are, and you're part of this Leadership Week too. So we wanted to introduce you ahead of when we begin on May 1st. And now you may not all be on May 1st, but you'll be there during the program, and people can find you because now they'll know who to look for and when you're in the lineup. So. Scott, go ahead and tell us some about yourself.
Thank you, Rex. It's always an honor to be with you and such an esteemed group. We've got so many great people that will be speaking throughout this week. I've been very blessed to do 3,000 live events over my career. And because of that, I've been able to be around amazing people like yourself and others that are part of this LA Tribune Leadership Week. One of the things I think that's the most important, I never knew that I could accomplish some of the things that I was able to accomplish other than to have some want to. I had some want to do more, much like Scott Jones was just saying. He has want to serve more people. Well, I had want to learn more. And over my career, I've been very blessed to be around some of the very best mentors you could possibly around. Many of them are actually speaking this week at Leadership Week. But the one thing that I said to each and every one of them as we started our relationship is, give me everything you got. And my commitment is I won't keep it. I'll share it with my students, with my clients, with the people I interact with. And I think that's how leadership is. At some point, to become a leader, you first have to be a follower. You have to follow some of the greats. You have to learn from the masters. And then you take what you've learned and share that along. In my opinion, everybody has the ability to be a leader and a mentor should they choose to be. Everybody has one more piece of information than somebody who needs that piece of information. And so therefore, by choice, you can be a leader. And again, I'm honored to be part of such an esteemed group of people that have a desire to share the wisdom that they've gained over time. How do you gain wisdom? Through experience. How do you gain experience? Through some not such great things happening, more than likely. So the reality is that I'm going to be just as much of a student as I am as a teacher throughout this week, because there's going to be some great nuggets just in and of itself all day long, every day through these 7 days. So again, I'm honored to be a big part of it, or to be my part of it. Hopefully it becomes a bigger part of it, but I'm honored to play whatever role I can play to share what I've learned over time, to be of service to other people so they can be of service to other people. When people say, Scott, what is it you do? The short answer is I help people help people. And hopefully throughout this week, I'll be able to help you help some others.
Wow, that is beautiful. And I thank you for that. And I'm going to bring Danny and I'm going to bring Scott back to the stage, but I appreciate you. And I'm so glad that you shared. We have a few moments. We've got, 5, maybe 10 minutes on the outside if we're lucky. And I just wanted to, to kind of talk about the notion of leadership from your perspective. So there's 4 of us. We each get maybe 2 minutes, or we have a dialogue about it. But we're embracing this concept that leaders are there to help other people become leaders in their own right. They're not there to create followers, but to create other people who, like you said, help people, and in all different walks of life. You have your venue and the arena that you work in. Scott Jones, you have your arena or venue that you work in. Danny has his, I have mine. And all of the men and women who join us during Leadership Week, will touch people in different areas. The important thing is that, for example, the 4 of us, if we all went out and shared what we are doing right here to our social media and to our family and our friends, we would reach X amount of people. But those watching right now, if they also shared to their friends and their family, and even the strangers who are on social media, our reach, your reach, we help people because we're extending that reach. We're going further, faster than we could, and we're going further than we could go alone. And so I appreciate you here today, sharing your wisdom and your expertise, just briefly, albeit, but thank you for that and for making the time available. We had one other person who was going to join, actually 2 other people. One ended up on a plane. The other one, I don't know where they went. They did want to be here, but it's us. So in terms of leadership and making an impact and helping people understand their role in this process, what say you? And I'm just going to open it up and let whomever wants to go first. So talk all over each other.
Well, I've got a quick thought. And I think sometimes when it comes to leadership, people think that, or so many people go, well, I can't really be a leader unless I impact 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or more. And the reality is most people don't want to start with the first 2. They don't want to start with the first 1 to get to the first 2. And if if just simple math, 2 telling 2 telling 2 telling 2 32 and a half times covers all 8 billion people on the planet. So leadership actually starts with that first move, that first desire to share any piece of information that can make somebody better, that then they can make somebody better. So as you said, Rex, our reach gets exponential as we all share it. And you don't have to share it to 1,000, just share it to 2 and let them share it to 2 and let them share it to 2. And let's see how many lives we can positively impact.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Scott, I'm so glad you said that, because that's exactly what I was thinking of, is that leadership is just all about making an effect and showing a pathway to someone else. And the cool thing is everybody can do this. Everybody who sees someone in need can take that leadership role. And once you start doing it, it's probably the wrong phrase to use from my point of view, but it becomes addictive to help other people and to be a leader and to not just allow people to fall by the wayside. That's where the danger lies. Leaders who ignore the people around them are not leaders. So just helping 1, 2 people, 3 people, doing something for your neighborhood, doing something for your community, it's going to change your life, and it could change many other lives too.
Wow, I love that. Thank you. Thank you both. And Danny.
There's definitely a thing about doing it with the people and not to the people. And there's quite often folks will disappear behind closed doors and come out and say, this is the plan, and now you've got to stick to it. How did that turn out, right? So it's about doing it with the people and involving the people. And I think to be able to do that with the marvel of technology that we have right now, social media, the speed of communication, it's important that I think we do our best to have people's interests at heart and do it through the eyes of the people too. So there's a lot to kind of mull over there, and some great points from these guys, but a lot more to come, I guess, during Leadership Week.
Well, thanks, Danny. You know what I love about you guys is I know that you'd be doing what you're doing if you never made a dime. I mean, that's the thing to me, that true leadership. You know, a lot of people want to be leaders because they think, oh, it's going to make money. You know, and we've got this false thing going on in the USA that our representatives are leaders. They're not leaders, they're representatives. You know, I don't even like the term leader. I prefer the term role model, because if we are all role models, like for our children, for our siblings, to our friends and the people around us, if we live that kind of life, other people would naturally, like moths to the flame, they would naturally learn and acquire what they need to, because you're walking the talk, you're exhibiting the changes. As Gandhi, you know, he didn't have any money, but he was one of the most powerful people on the planet and mobilized the entire, sorry, Danny, but the British government, you know, peacefully, right? And Mother Teresa didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, but could go into any office of any king or president or prime minister in the world, because she was a leader whose prime directive was, let's help other people, and then help people help other people, like what Scott was saying. So what say you? We let's take the next 5 minutes, we'll close it out with your thoughts. And again, I really thank you for being here.
Well, it's interesting you brought up Mother Teresa, because I quote her daily, and that is, if you can't feed 100, feed 1. And it's such a simple concept, but the reality is, again, I think people get caught up in, well, I can't have this mass impact right this second. Well, it's not necessarily about the mass impact this second. If I can feed 1, feed 1. It's like the starfish story, the exact same thing, right? You know, somebody dancing on the beach, seeing somebody doing something, they walk up and there's millions of starfish on the beach, and they're flinging them in one at a time. And says, you can't possibly make a difference. I did for that one. That's what I think a big part of this week is about.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much.
And Rex, I couldn't agree with you more. The word leadership seems like it's not quite representative of all of the things we're talking about here. It is more of being a role model, or simply being living our best humanity and being kind and showing dignity and respect to others by helping them. I see so many people that want to stand tall among their brothers and sisters, But it's always been my experience. No one stands taller than when they kneel to help someone.
Oh.
And it's really what you develop inside and how you feel about yourself when you're doing these actions. It's the only way to explain what you're really going to get. The rewards are inside. The rewards are in your heart, and it grows. We're all Grinches, and we could all use 10 sizes larger on our hearts anytime, right?
That is marvelous. Wonderfully put. That's why I love being with you guys. You all, in your own way, have such beautiful ways of expressing yourselves and getting right to the point and the heart of the matter. So thank you. And Danny.
I think you mentioned a minute ago that, a good leader would turn up and sort of do the work, even if there was no money involved, which is very true. And we used to do a lot of stuff with young people around addiction and all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's interesting to hear everybody's comments today. But the test would be when the funding ran out, did the people come back to work the next day? And I know that a true leader, as somebody who was passionate about their cause, they certainly would, and they certainly did. And that's what makes communities grow and what makes things go around. So, again, pleasure to be part of this. I know Barry's just arrived as well. So, yeah, more to come.
So we'll get. Thank you, Danny, so much for that. And we'll go a few extra moments because either I didn't see Barry or you just showed up. But you might have been here for a while. I don't know.
I was here for a few minutes because I was just finishing another podcast, and so I'd already booked for later with you. But now you're doing it now, so I'll jump in when I can.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, thank you for being here. And Scott and this is Danny Walsh. And so Danny meets Barry and Barry meets Danny. And that's not my dog.
Scott's, I think.
I actually have an issue I will go handle. Thank you all. We'll see you later this week.
I was on the show earlier or yesterday, and the dogs barked. They're like, "Hey!" So, what happened? Who left? Scott left.
Scott left.
Oh my!
To deal with the dogs.
Oh no, it was fine. It was fine. I love you, Scott. Barry. So we're talking leadership, and as I said about these other gentlemen, and knowing you as I know you, you would do what you're doing whether you got a dime or not. You're passionate about the topic, and you're a servant leader in that regard. So what say you about heart-centered leadership? And we kind of reframed the notion of leader as a role model as opposed to somebody, like we typically think of leader. Would you agree? I mean,
oh, 100%. The challenge, I think a lot of times we have leaders that think they know what they're doing and they don't. But also I think that truly for leadership for ourselves is that we are meant to be leading ourselves. I mean, I'm talking about self relationship a lot this year, and self-leadership fits in right into that pattern because we tend to look outside ourselves oftentimes for someone to lead us, and leadership really starts inside. And yes, my work I do because I love doing it, and it'd be nice to get paid, and if I don't, I'm still going to do it anyway because it's my calling, my work, my vocation. And there's growth opportunities all the time to lead ourselves better. How do we lead ourselves in our relationships? How do we lead ourselves in our employment? How do we lead ourselves in our families? How do we lead ourselves in service to other people? That's where the work is. And so for me, leadership is something we can hone and refine in our daily lives. How do we drive on the freeway? And there's so many places we can explore leadership in terms of being a better leader in the world. That isn't about being one up on other people. It's about uplifting all.
Wow, I appreciate that. And what we didn't do is give you a proper introduction. So would you talk? You're also an author, and you also, coach and consult and do live events and things like that. But primarily, one of your interests is in the area of helping people with their relationships.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, my nickname has been the Love Doctor for many years because my clients and friends call me that. But as I said, this year seems focused so much more on self-relationship because my work's always been about helping singles be better partners into relationship. I'm not a relationship counselor. It's not my strength or focus, although I can do it. So my joy is helping people really to heal their own wounds. They can be better partners and then have better relationships. So that's really my work. And I've got podcasts and books and videos and all sorts of stuff out there people can find me on.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we're getting to that end. I'm going to each let you have 30 seconds or maybe a minute, let's say at the very most, to kind of close out this topic. And Barry's going to be talking at the LA Leadership Week, and Danny will, and Scott Schilling, who left us, and Scott Jones will be. So And I will be, as along with all the other speakers and presenters. So you're going to want to register at laleadershipweek.com, and you're going to want to register now to secure your spot. It's free to register, but it's also free to get the replays, and that's why you want to register. This is a long event. It'll go by fast, but it's a long event with lots of speakers. And so if you're working or you can't do it or you're traveling and you're going to be able to miss somebody, you want to have those replays. But more than that, you want to also imbibe the kinds of information and the practices and principles that people like Barry and Danny and Scott and the others are sharing, so that you can use that and apply that in your life. So let's start with Danny. We'll go Scott. We'll close with Barry. And what do you say?
Awesome, Rex. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Great to be alongside so many amazing folks. And I think the message that you've just given there is super important, because yes, there is a lot of information. I would say even if all this did is just give you one thing to work with, implement it. If you can take 2 things away, implement them. Don't take everything, write it all in that. How many folks have got like a notebook from an event, and then you get back from the event, you kind of shove it in the drawer with all the rest of the notebooks from other events? You've got to implement this stuff, and there will be one thing in this event for everybody. Sign up, register, get the replays, make the most of it, turn off distractions, but most importantly, whatever you take away from whichever presentation, whichever speaker, whichever panel, implement, and it will improve what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. That's my bit. And Rex, you guys, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Danny. Scott?
I'll tell you, a pleasure to be with you. And of course, Barry, my friends, and Danny, nice to meet you. Look forward to speaking with everyone during LA Leadership Week. This is the kind of thing I'm usually the guy who says technology is killing communication. It's killing our relationships. It's killing everything. But this is one of those times when we're using it for the right reason, to spread messages and to spread good qualities and good things to other people. I just ask everybody to keep in mind that for every hour that you're watching somebody speak, there are people out there suffering, and anywhere between 20 to 40 people dying each hour from addictions and mental health issues. This is something we can move the barometer on. It doesn't take money. It simply takes will. It takes the will to go out there and help somebody. It takes the will to make a phone call to 988 for the mental health hotline. It takes will to reach out and find out how you can help the people in your lives. That's all I'm asking everyone to do. I look forward to seeing you, and God bless all.
God bless all. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, and so important and so true. Care about caring and make something happen. Barry?
Boy, we're going to add to this. Simply say that I'm excited to be part of this week, and the diversity and range of people who are going to be speaking surprised me. And I think I'm the only relationship coach on the whole thing, which is kind of surprising as well. So I'm loving what's being presented, what's being offered. And as you said, it's free, which is it's like, how does this happen where so much good information is being available? All you got to do is tune in or watch the replay. So for me, I'm going to be watching some people who I want to seek out and find out more about on the talks as well, because there's a smorgasbord here. It's like a massive buffet. You can pick and choose what you want, come back and pick up the rest later on. So jump in and feast.
Absolutely. And I want to thank each of you for being here, and Scott Schilling, who left. But when you're at the leadership event this week at laleadershipweek.com to register, be sure to check out Barry Selby, Danny Walsh, Scott Jones, and Scott Schilling, and all the other wonderful smorgasbord. And Rex Sykes and all the ones, thank you, and all the wonderful smorgasbord things that we have. Well, that's going to conclude it for us. I hope you enjoy this. Share this out. Share the opportunity to participate by sharing the link to others that you know. And we'll all see you on May 1st through the 7th, and maybe even longer. But we'll see you. So join us. Gentlemen, we're going to say goodbye. Love you all. I will see you here, there, and everywhere. And have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.